boys keep remaking the thing and the thing and the thing with the thing and the thing, fam. You
Uh,
know how this goes, brother.
where is it? And I'm like, man, you cut that thing a couple of BPMs. I said, BB. I said, speed that thing up just a little bit. Don't say goodbye. I'm like, oh,
Sucks to be you, cause I would have loved you. I was the whole world with it.
but literally, do 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 bang, don't do do do, do 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 have you in yeah, whatever the lyrics are.
Hold on, bro.
But
You sound like you harmonize a little bit. What you over there
oh,
doing, boy?
I used to sing back in the day, back in the day.
Back in the
I said,
day.
back in the day before I let my voice go to shit. But I
No.
can still get the principle done. Be
Copy.
like, you need, be like, you need a reference track real quick.
Copy. Well, shoot, man. Let's go ahead and get into some stuff, man. What's going on, everybody? It's your man Hans Nobi. I don't know why it looks like that. That's crazy. It's your man Hans Nobi, and this is episode. Theo, what episode are we on, man? I forgot.
28, big 28.
Is it?
That's what we rocking with.
Nah. Is it really 28?
Somebody gonna tell us. I said we rocking with 28 until somebody calls us a liar.
Well, don't call me no damn liar, cause that's offensive. Let's get that understood. Don't call me no liar.
Oh, bro.
I'm from. I don't know where I'm from. But anyway, let's go and get into it, bro. Cause
So I'm from Detroit. I'm from the old school. I'm from the Houston. Listen, we don't play with none of that.
man. Listen, I just had this conversation with somebody earlier today. They were like, where do you call home?
Yeah, you gotta be careful. They got rappers out here talking about you ain't from somewhere now, so you gotta be
Where do
very
you
careful.
call home? And one day I'll get into the whole Detroit Houston thing, man. But not today. Not today. Today's been it's been a good week and everything else. I'm getting ready to share everything to the socials. Theo, you know how we get started, man. Tell me how your week has been.
Man, the week, I'm not even gonna lie to you, the week has been amazing. Been having a whole bunch of conversations about music publishing. We did some super deep dives into Song Trust. For those who do not know what Song Trust is, it is a music published admin. If you do not, I repeat, if you do not have a music publishing arm with regards to your business, I highly recommend checking them out. Probably gonna be one of the easiest deals you set up, realistically speaking, as an indie artist. And as an indie artist, you definitely need a publishing arm. I don't know who be out here sitting here telling folks, oh, just worry about your PRO. No, sir. No, sir. Get your PRO together. Get your publishing together. Get your whole business conversation together because you are a business. But outside of that, I mean, everything's been rocking. School's going amazing. I just registered for summer classes. And again, if you join us for the first time, I talk about this every time, but I am in school for my master's. So I just got my summer courses together. I mean, we're feeling amazing. You know what I'm saying? 2022 is doing some great things, minus the obvious, of course, but amazing things are happening right now.
That's good, man. That's good. Definitely one of your better intros for sure. Definitely one of your better intros because you came in the first four times. I was just like, yo, he's got to get this right. So definitely appreciate it. What's going on with me, man? Everything's been good, man. Just getting ready for quarter two, getting ready for April 4th. Got a lot of stuff coming down the pipeline in regards to Room 380. A lot of stuff with this podcast, man. I've just been on my, you know, working, not working in the business, but on the business type of grind. You know what I mean? So just been focusing on that, and just letting this podcast become the organic thing that it is becoming. I'm having fun. I'm not going to try to push this and try to become like it's monetization and everything. Because they're talking about that on the Joe Budden podcast. They were talking about like, boys over there talking about people are trying to monetize a podcast way too fast. And
Mm-hmm.
not what I'm looking to do with this one. But, like I said before, man, if it comes, fantastic. If not, I am not tripping. Like this is this is for you guys because like I said, you guys keep hitting me up saying you like the information and everything else, so let's keep it moving. You dig what I'm saying? So
Most definitely.
all right, let's go and get to the thing that everyone's been talking about all week. I said I was gonna do it, and I told Theo, when do we meet? Tuesday?
Yeah.
I said, nah, let's not do it. But it's like, there's so much you could pull apart from it that can help artists. So here I am adding the 12 millionth piece of content that's come out this week about this whole situation. And if you don't know, if you're listening, let's say 5 years from now or whatever, we're talking about the Will Smith and Chris Rock slap. So let's be like everybody else just this week. We'll be
For the
like
one time.
Just one time. We'll be like everybody else, and let's get into it. All right. So when I initially, I was asleep. So I actually had a meeting. Sunday. With another producer, which is it was really fun. Guys coming in from out the country, and caught up with them and everything else, and just chopping it up and having fun. We nerded out, talked about different plugins and how you can control the distortion or harmonics, and if you EQ something over here, it's gonna push the harmonics for like another key up here and everything else, and just nerding out. Right. Got home, saw the Oscars were home. I went to bed. I wake up and my WhatsApp is popping. I'm like, what the heck? And for a sec, I got shook a little bit. I was like, oh man, I hope it ain't something bad. Open it up and saw a video. So it was some YouTubers. They show Chris Rock, this, that, and the third. I'm like, okay, what am I watching? And keep in mind, like, I just woke up, so I'm like stumbling and like, let me get my water and everything else. And then I hear the joke. I'm like, all right, cool. That's what's up. That's kind of funny. And then I saw Will Smith go up and smack the hell out of Chris. I mean, he smacked I was like, whoa. So I stopped what I was doing. It's like, there's no way this is real. The first thing I said, this is staged.
Right.
Because I'm like, there's no way this
can't
is
be
real.
Right.
Until he sat back down in the seat and said what he said.
He said what he said.
He meant with his whole chest. You know that part of your throat, in the back of your throat, that like it gets dry, like when you're emotional. Like he came from there. Like he meant what he said.
Oh man.
And so I was like everyone else, I was like stunned. And then the text messages started coming out. And then of course like Twitter and Facebook had a field day. The thing that really got me was how fast these content creators had already created. Yeah. I was finding TikTok videos that are already 6 hours old. I'm like, how are you guys this fast? Like there was
ain't playing no games. They was looking for moments.
I was like, what is going on, right? So we're not gonna talk about that necessarily. But what I do want to talk to you guys about is I want to dive into it a little bit and apply it, because Will Smith, to me, I still look at him as a hip hop artist, and I did this whole thing where I was like defending him in regard to like his contribution. Someone had the nerve to say they don't consider him as a hip hop artist. I'm like, how do you not consider the first person to win a Grammy for best hip hop album of the year not a hip hop artist? But whatever, right? And so I want to dive into this in the sense of the mental aspect, because I am of the thought that there's no way that one joke caused that reaction.
Definitely not.
This is 2 years of build up, and he snapped, and now we're here. This kind of ties into the whole content thing. What was the guy's name? Ghastly?
Uh-huh.
All right, shout out to Ghastly, because this is like the third episode we've mentioned him, and I don't want to say no. I get the feeling I'm waiting for that. Like I said, I'm waiting for that DM. It was like, yo, fam, what you say? Like I'm waiting for it. So I just want to make sure I come as humble as possible. But what he said in regards to the creating content and the promotion and everything else, and it kind of ties into what DJ Payne said earlier. If I can find it, I'll show it. This is why there has to be a part of you. You almost have to treat yourself as an artist as though you're Batman. Like, I feel that a true creative has two sides. They have the Batman and have the Bruce Wayne. And if you were to ask them, if we had to say who's the true you, 9 times out of 10 they're gonna say Batman, and Bruce Wayne is a mask, right? So even for me, like, I have my two sides, and I keep my personal life personal. Like, you would have to really hunt to find some content where I mention anything about my personal life, and I do that because that's how I keep myself sane. And for artists, you really need to do that. There's nothing wrong with making content about your personal life, but there has to be something where you can go and just get away from it all. And this is all stemming from the Red Table Talk. Actually, if we really want to go down, it's really 20 years in the making. I'm not going to get into that part, but this is what happens when you overexpose yourself, and this can happen on any level. This can like, when, because I'm part of that generation where you used to put your Facebook relationship in was a big thing. Like, fam, I remember when I went through a breakup, and it was announced on Facebook, and that, like, fam, for like 2 weeks straight, I was like, I don't want to talk to anybody about this at all. Like, people, like, random people were coming up to me like, I heard you and such broke up. I was like,
how the hell you find out about that?
It's like, oh, Facebook? It's on Facebook. And so I can only imagine, like, what he's going through. So, thoughts, Theo, thoughts. I don't want to take the floor too much.
Nah, you good, man. I mean, honestly, that situation is definitely wild. Because, I mean, right after it happened, you know what I'm saying, you have him accepting the award speech with an apology, and then post out online apology. I mean, he's definitely going through some situation. As taking the one from Nicki Minaj, as her post explained it, is you saw him laughing, but at the same time, what you didn't witness was the pain. Because when they finally show that capture point to Jada, and Jada's not smiling, like they said, it's like, now you looking at a man who's looking at his wife, who's dealing with a situation, and you're not thinking about the circumstances around that situation. So when he sees her in pain, not to condone the slap, quote unquote, but in that particular instance, now it's like, okay, now I have to be responsive, reactive in some capacity, due to the fact that he just on the low key played my wife. Because don't get me wrong, I mean, comedians, by a definitive point, just because of the position, they basically, I won't say get a pass to say anything, but damn near anything they want to say in the position of where they are, they pretty much say. You know what I'm saying? It just comes with the tools of the trade. But in a capacity, we also have to say, okay, on the off chance, is there anything that might be a buzzer topic, or certain things we may not say, or certain things we may not say about certain people? Will Smith and Jada is just one of them couples where it's like, you're hot Hollywood press. We expect the world from you, but we don't expect things to go left. We always expect things to go right. We expect you to kind of laugh at the jokes, and there's no they're jokes. We don't mean any harm, et cetera, et cetera. We forget that these people are human. You know what I'm saying? We forget that they're not desensitized to the things that are being said just because they've been Hollywood for so long. At some point, something that's being said is going to cross a line, get the wires messed up, and, well, here we go. And that was just one of them situations. He was laughing at first, saw the response to his wife with regards to the situation. That switch flipped, like, oh, wait a minute. As a man, I can't let this situation ride. I got to go ahead and handle this.
And that's the part that I don't like. That's my issue, is that you laughed at the joke first. Then you say, okay, I get it. So this whole, all these people saying like he disrespected his wife. Fam, he didn't think so for a second.
Right. For a brief moment.
He didn't think so. He thought it was pretty funny, even if it was just a fake laugh. Like, he didn't think it was that bad.
I ain't gonna lie though. We as men, as even women, we all as humans have those moments where we laugh at an expense, not realizing the severity of a situation until you turn around and be like, oh, it's not that. But at the same time, how you respond to that circumstance is a completely different situation. You know what I'm saying? Because that's where that circumstance comes in. It's like me and the homies. If somebody talk about my homie, I'm over laughing, thinking, oh, bro, they wild, and bro, you just gonna let that ride, and then realize, oh, they not playing about that situation. Like, they really feel some type of way about that situation. Then it becomes, they ready to fight. You about to go to war with this person over what they just said? You know what I'm saying? We have to remember different people, different walks of life. Now, the problem is we don't know Will Smith for being that type of person to walk that line, quote unquote.
Oh,
You
that's
know what I'm
another
saying?
that's another thing as well. Can y'all please stop with this narrative like yo that Will is like the most thug ass dude walking around? Like, can y'all stop? Like for real. Let's like can
Let's
he
keep it
handle
100.
himself? Yes, but he's not walking around with like the Ruger in his back. Like, stop. Like
That's funny.
now all of a sudden like y'all know about no we don't no. Will Smith is not walking. We talking about the dude. He's making a whole bunch of content about trying to lose weight, and
But
he's talking about reading different books about Mahatma Gandhi and like stop. Like no,
I mean,
this
don't get me wrong. He might be walking around with the Ruger in his back, but it's not in the capacity that we like.
Will
Oh, he's
Smith is
from the
not walking
streets.
around with a Ruger in his back. He has security.
I'm, oh, hey, I ain't knocking that. I'm just saying the average American can walk around, but it's the mindset, the concept, the behavior behind it. Oh, is he street now, or no? He's just a regular average citizen.
No. Now,
it's,
does he
it's
have?
like we lived in Texas. We know what it is.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
walk
yeah.
down the street, you see a 12-year-old with a gun. Wow, that's just normal. He's going out hunting.
Yeah. But I that's why I try to stay out of some conversations. In regards to this, I just looked at a whole bunch of content and a whole bunch of posts, and I was just like, people are missing the point, right?
Mm-hmm.
It like you said before, man. It was just his breaking point, and I can attest to that. That even for me, so I'll put myself out there because I will try to make this as relatable as possible. Last year, toward the end of last year, when I was hitting burnout, and there were like on a personal level, everything was fine. It's just that I was getting hit. I was taking some major hits with the business, and I can't imagine like content coming out about we lost this client, we lost this record, this was said about us, this is said about me, or this person thinks this or whatever. I can't imagine going out and then get a whole bunch of comments in regards to that. That's just the
Mm-hmm.
business level for him, and again his relationship. You know, do I understand where he's coming from? Yeah, absolutely, for sure. Do I condone action? No,
Right.
plain and simple. And for artists that are listening, man, before you get to that point, man, there's nothing wrong with asking for help. There's nothing wrong. Like even with hold on, let's see. What was and there's a reason why I had this up. There's what's the girl's name? Hold on, give me 1 second. I'll pull it up because I didn't tweet a lot, so I should be able to find it. Hold on, give me a second. Because there was an artist. Oh, look at that! Pistons beat the Sixers. Nice. Still not going to the playoffs, but I do appreciate the, the wins. That
The, su-
it's not going to
the,
get us anywhere.
the subtleties.
The subtleties. What is that girl's name? Because I was responding to Ebro. God, dog, I tweeted a lot more than I thought. Yeah, okay, that was before. Hold on. Theo, say something while I pull this up.
I ain't gonna lie to you, but it's a weird situation. Like I've seen a lot of different videos, celebrity reactions and stuff like that. One valid point I will say is, man, you could at least put in that situation. That's horrible with Tupac with
Yeah,
but
yeah, man.
I ain't gonna lie. I'm not so much upset
Here
at
we
the
go.
slap, more so as I'm upset at where it happened. And I'm not even upset. It's just more of a, oh yeah, I probably wouldn't have did that on stage. I could understand the aspect of the Oscars as being the epitome of your career aspect, where you want to be. So I can see doing that off stage, behind the scenes, where cats don't see the situation, but at the same time, you're not gonna let that situation stand with regards to disrespect. I can understand a lot of sides of that situation. It's like being from New York. He's like, certain things you say is going to get you slapped up. Like there's just no question about it. Don't make a difference what your station is. Like you come out your mouth, understand there's going to be actions and there's going to be a reaction to that action. You know what I'm saying? But that's also why even with comedians, you see certain things aren't said about certain individuals. That's kind of like what I was telling you about 50 Cent a couple episodes ago, where he was talking about when they say, oh, well, yeah, they try to put him in a position to be a mogul. He's like, nah, I keep myself in a position of being a rapper. So when I do certain things, when I go off on certain people, when I position myself certain ways, I don't lose certain things because they just understand what it is. They know where I'm coming from, regardless of what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? And that's in a lot of aspects with a lot of different people. It's like we got to remember, station or not, these are people. These titles don't mean nothing. You said, all it take is that one straw. All it take is that one thing said. All it take is that one thing interpreted wrong. Because again, we give comedians, as well as just about anybody else we consider funny, a lot of open space to say what they want to say. That just comes with the territory. But at the same time, when we say that comes with the territory, that doesn't necessarily mean that someone is not going to be offended by what has been said. You know what I'm saying? And that someone's not going to negatively react to it. There's always that possibility. We see it all the time in these little miniature comedy shows, or matter of fact, go take it back to high school, college, when somebody over here trying to throw them jokes, mess around, say the wrong yo mama joke. Next thing you know, throw your hands up. Is it the only difference is, oh, it's Hollywood and money versus it just being on some regular in the back way comedy club type situation. That's where the transition happens. Oh, it's money. It's the such and such award show. It's such and such. He don't mean no harm. He's just saying such and such. True enough, Chris Rock don't mean no harm when he make these jokes. He's just being Chris Rock, without question. But again, we got to remember, everybody's human. Like you said, everybody's going to have that moment where things just ain't going to go right. It's just an unfortunate situation that Chris Rock was the person that made that joke, and Will Smith at expense was the person who went left in the defense of his wife. Now, I don't realistically condone all the people that's trashing him in the way that they're trashing. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like when they say if somebody's reaching out for help and they, how do you say, reach out for help in the wrong way? Don't sit there and tear them down. Oh, well, y'all trash, or y'all stupid, is that. It's like, nah, if that man need help, then you as a fellow celebrity, you as someone who said that you rocked with him, you knew him, et cetera, speak on that situation, man. I really believe the brother need help because there was no reason he should have reacted like that. You have whole celebrities. I said, and as people are going to be like, bro, don't be racial about this. But you have whole black celebrities who will, when one face, say, man, that's Will Smith. On the other hand, now saying, he's trash. I can't believe he would go out like that. It's like, I can't believe you on TV going out like this. That man needs help. Give that man the help he needs.
It's been the great thing about being a guy who doesn't mind sitting on the other side of the fence naturally is that you get to see other people's perspectives, and it gives you a bit more insight into them. And for me, this is giving me more insight to other people I follow and other people that I talk to more than anything, because they're giving you their perspective, through their opinion. And it's been an interesting week for sure. So I kind of want to dive into this. Did you hear about this? Okay, so if you're not familiar, so I'll read the article. So if you guys are not familiar, rapper Chika lets fans know she's alive after suicide scare. If you're not familiar with Chika, definitely look her up. She went viral on TikTok, and she's a really dope rapper. So whenever you get a chance, check her out. Matter of fact, me and Fleeta Hicks were actually listening to some of her music for inspiration for Fleeta's last album. But she had tweeted, or rather, she had posted not too long ago, that basically she walked on the roof of the hotel that she was at and getting ready to. She was intending to, but the stairs scared her.
Oh wow!
So she went back, and apparently this is not the first time that she's actually contemplated suicide or attempted suicide. And tying this into the Will Smith thing, of course, now we go dark. Again, as you guys are probably figuring out, Theo's a happy, the bright and sunny version. I'm the dark midnight stuck in a cave version. But this is one. It's concerning, right? Kind of like you said about the cry for help. The fact that she came back down, got on social media, and just tell everybody, hey, just let you know, I just try to do this. A lot of time I just want to end it, but want to let you guys know I'm okay. Just to even dive into that, artists when you're making your music, and I have to be cautious in regards to say content. Music is content. That's a conversation we'll get into. In fact, we can actually get into that one today. When you're making your music, you're talking about some of the most vulnerable things about you. And a lot of times, sometimes those records can be a bit dated because if you make, let's say, a song, let's say something happened in December, but the song doesn't come out until July, that can alarm people because they're just like, oh, you're still going through it. It's like, nah, I've been past it, but
It's
you
my
went,
story.
right, right. And in this case, we don't know exactly what we're looking at because this is multiple times.
Hmm.
And I even tweeted, I put this here. Let me actually go back. Yeah, I said someone in her camp really needs to pull her to the side because all shows, whatever she's doing, needs to stop. So excuse my ignorance if I say her life is more important than those shows. I kind of want to
Right.
dive into that. So I was speaking with somebody, yeah, I guess that was this year, and me and her were talking about it, and not this, but I was saying that if you got a phone call, if you're getting ready to perform at Coachella for the first time, you're a headlining act, and there's 80,000 people out there screaming your name, and 4 minutes before you get on, someone comes to you, which I wouldn't do, but someone comes to you and say, "Hey, just find out your mother has 24 hours to live." I'm confident in saying that 9 out of 10 people would run off that stage and go see their mother.
Right.
And I use that as an example. Well, and I always use that as an example because I'm not afraid to say that this music game, it's, don't get me wrong, I have high goals and ambitions I want to accomplish here. Like very high stuff that scares me. And I go hard for this. But fam, if I got that phone, I don't care what's going on. And I know most people feel the same way. Like your child is, terminally ill, or you just found out like your dad something happened, and then like when it hits home, the music is not that important. And I know people try to make it seem like it is, but it's not. When I told this lady this, she said, and I gotta stop saying lady because we're around the same age. But when I told her this,
I mean, lady would potentially be a proper moniker, though. I mean,
when I told this chick this, she was she said, "Wow, that's very deep," and I was like, "Yeah," and it's not that I'm trying to be dramatic; it's just the fact. So, as much as I like Chika, I don't want to see a news article saying that, you know, she did commit suicide,
right.
because that would affect me negatively. So I can only imagine how her family and close friends would feel. I understand accomplishing your goals in music is very serious. It takes a lot of work, and I'll get into the whole DJ Payne thing here. In fact, let me see. Let me go and pull that up while I'm talking. It's very serious, and it takes a lot of time to accomplish these lofty goals that we have. However, my whole issue is that at some point you have to step back, which leads me to this. So DJ Payne one is a dope producer. I've actually collabed with him on a few joints that are in my beat store. He tweeted, "You can't take breaks in this music business unless you want your momentum and livelihood to suffer." I think we all have to learn this lesson the hard way, though. So I want to break this down. And Theo, I'm gonna let you get in.
Mm.
For the people that are looking at this, I dare say he's not talking about you can't take any days off. I know that's the thing we all say. No days off. Fam, at some point you're gonna have to take a day off.
Oh yeah,
You may be consistent in the studio, but at some point you're gonna have to take a day off.
true story. True story. Honestly, I think it's a cultural aspect with regards to how fast content is generated now versus what it was 10, 15 years ago. Because it's like now you have kids, and I say kids loosely with regards to age brackets, you know what I'm saying? But it's like you have these individuals who are coming into this media culture that's driven by a short attention span. Something can go viral, but it'd be viral for 3 days, and then we're on to the next challenge. So now you're trying to figure out what your next hot moment is going to be to get that next 500,000, et cetera. So you're always working, always cooking.
So let's talk.
But
Sorry. So let me let
are
me
you
let
good?
me jump here. In regards to, so let's do like a little tutorial.
Hmm.
If you're having a hard time making content, take a break. I'm off my Instagram. I haven't posted anything on Instagram in almost 3 weeks because I don't want to. The end. Now my DMs is still lighting up, but because I don't want to. I don't want to make any, studio videos, beat making videos, snippets, shorts, reels. I don't want to. So I didn't. The end. Am I suffering? No, because there's other platforms like Twitter. I can get on Facebook. And then email. But this whole thing, like you have to push yourself to make a whole bunch of content every single day. There's a much easier way of doing it. You guys ever heard of something called batching content?
Oh man, coming up with a content schedule, a post schedule.
Let Theo, let's do that. Let's help our listeners out.
Yeah, man, I'll be perfectly honest with you. The whole I gotta post every day, it's ridiculous. So TV, I'll tell anybody, TV had the greatest circumstantial invention when they said, "Hey, we're going to release an episode every week, but we're only going to do it for a run period of so many months, and then you won't get anything else until next year, which will technically be season." So we'll start from mid-spring. Let's say we'll start in April when the new episode comes. It'll run till, let's say, August, and then you won't see anything again until next February. Why? Because we're shooting, finishing, and all you're going to see is advertisements from the stuff that's already playing, just letting you know what's already there. And then in about 2 months, you'll see an ad for the new stuff that's going to drop 2 months and follow. See, those behaviors don't exist for a lot of these young cats now because, again, we've changed the psychology behind how fast we adopt content. And people are like, what do you mean by adopt content? You literally pick this content up like it is going to be your child. You hold on to it, you hug it, you love it, you follow these people, you give them everything you got as a consumer, and then you drop them off like they the ugly redheaded stepchild and say, all right, what's the next thing? Like that's how crazy we are with regards to content. That whole aspect of brand loyalty is shaky when it comes to the concept of content. You know what I'm saying? Because we just consume so much. But it's like as an artist, you can defeat that behavior just by utilizing a post schedule because you're going to, as per the example, you're going to condition your audience to know when you're dropping content. So if you drop on Instagram every Friday and they know you're going to come with the heat every Friday, they know they need to be on your page every Friday. But once you build enough content, those same fans will be telling other people. And as they're telling other people, those other people are going through everything you got up until the next point. Once you hit about, let's say, 200 posts and you got floods of people coming in, they're easily eating your content and eagerly awaiting. It's
And
just a principal behavior.
exactly. And in regard, and you hit it on the head. It's all about like you can spread the content out. So you can't do TikTok on this app. But if you go to some of these TikTok accounts, you'll see a chick. She'll do a whole like just like 18 videos, and she's wearing the same outfit. She's not doing that to be consistent. She shot all
Right.
that content in 2 to 3 hours and spread it across a week or so.
Schedule, but publish.
And you can do the same thing. And the different apps. So I'm gonna pull up one. We really need to get a check, Theo, because we put a lot of people in the game. So there's two. So I'll show you one. So there's one called IFPI. So this is where you can actually schedule your posts. So here's an idea: set up a photo shoot or set up a
Photo
day.
shoot.
We do the same thing. I do the same thing. Set up one day a week where all you do is make a whole bunch of content. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're in the studio, take a whole bunch of photos, videos, screenshots, and then make some snippets, do whatever, make a whole bunch of stuff, and that it may take you 1 to 2 hours to do. And then you come home, get your laptop, and you can edit it. You can repurpose this, that, and the third, whatever. Now you have, so let's say you got 20, videos. Or say you got 10 pictures, 10 videos. Once you're done, you may have spread that across and made 50 different pieces of content. So if you're trying to remain, let's say you're trying to post um, every day, or let's say you're trying to do uh, Monday through Friday, that's almost 2 months worth of content right there. That gives you time. You can schedule it with these. There's IFPI, there's later, there's a whole bunch of different. There's planner, and while you're doing that, you can come with other content ideas. Oh, so if you do see a challenge, you can go, oh, okay, I want to participate in that. Now you can add that in, and now that's an extra piece of content.
I will say that
Yeah,
with regards to challenges, people need to start picking themes. Is like
yeah, man.
more or less like artists with music. Figure out what concept, what genre works for you. If you like funny stuff, post comedy. Because I'm like, the problem is with these challenges is that everyone wants to jump in on a challenge and hope that their video is going to take off. But it's like when you see these videos that are truly taking off in correlation to a challenge, they look like nothing else. And 9 times out of 10 is the fact that they're doing the challenge on another level. It's not that they're just doing it correctly, is that they breaking that thing down like no one else. Like I've been watching the glide video joints. I'm seeing cats going up escalators, gliding upstairs, going to their neighbors' apartments, people jumping out and jumping in with them. It's like they taking this thing to the next level. It's just not, oh yeah, let me just be in the room and just start doing the dance. You know what I'm saying? It's like that stuff is cool, but it's like if you want to be a part of challenge culture, you have to literally do the word definitively. Challenge yourself. If that's not what you're going to do, then find your theme, find a genre that you fit in. If you do cooking, man, do some of the dopest cooking videos they've ever seen. If you do comedy, do sketches or do challenges associating to things that are related to funny, things that are going to draw and keep a consistent audience,
So
not just all over the place.
let's dive into that. You said something that I really like. You said, "Do what you like. Do you." That's really it. So we are gonna have a brand developer on here once we figure out how to have a guest and anything else. In fact, well, I won't. Theo knows probably who I'm talking about, but we're gonna have somebody on here that has been doing it for a while, and he's gonna explain the whole thing about branding. Branding is not even that hard to really come up with. It really just starts with who the core of you are. Like, I love being in the studio. I love helping you guys. I love being in the gym. I talk about documentaries. So I put that all together, and that's my stuff. And you can do the same thing as well.
That
And
sounds like the 5 W's.
we
The
were talking
five
about the
W's of
five. We
storytelling.
were talking about the five
The
W's of
who, what, when,
storytelling.
where, and why. I'm just saying. I mean, some things just make sense.
So talk about the five W's of storytelling. Then we'll get
Man,
into this whole
you
Lizzo thing.
you talking about the who, what, when, where, and whys? Let's break that down. Who are you speaking to? What are you speaking about? Those are going to be your generalized. Hey, what's the why? Why are we doing this? When are you doing this? You know what I'm saying? It's like we functionally have to tell an effective story from start to middle to end. If there's a bridge, let that bridge get crossed. Let it make sense, but we have to have a functional way that people can follow. That's that same thing with song creation. I be telling artists all the time, they be like, yeah, bro, I think I got the hottest record. It's like, well, why do you think you have the hottest record? And why do you think your
We
record is
gotta
not
stop that.
compared?
We gotta
Well,
nip.
no,
We
no.
gotta start nipping that in the bud. The whole hottest record.
Yeah. And, but see, I tell artists, I say, what you have to do, you can do this two ways. One, you can do this from a songwriting standpoint and say, what intent does your record deliver in comparison to something that's going to be in your genre? And don't say, oh, well, I'm different because these algorithms are going to pin you with something. They're going to say you sound like you associate with. So your intent as you're delivering this music, the words you're choosing, the association of rhyme scheme, this the string of words you're putting together has to tell an effective story that's going to keep people captivated. Like I was just looking at the new Lil Wayne joint with Kendrick Lamar. I scroll through the comments, and that's one of the first things I see. Bro, the way he's putting these words together, the story just matches. I'm sitting there listening. I'm like, this is definitely not Lil Wayne's flow. This is different. Okay, where are we going with this? But there's literally, they're saying, bro, the story makes sense. You go back and you listen to X, Y, and Z, how he said this line to this line. Yeah, that all do. You know what I'm saying? It's like the fans understand. He's like, we're talking about one of the greatest rappers in the generation, let alone all time, arguably. You know what I'm saying? So it's like if a random fan is going to be in the comments saying, bro, his storytelling makes so much sense. They're not saying he's got the greatest bars in the greatest verse on this particular record. They're saying what he's saying definitively is leading them from point A to point Z. They understand everything that he's articulating to them with regards to the picture he's painting. He might as well say, I can put this in a book right now and sell it to you, and you're going to understand it as you read it. And that's what a lot of artists misunderstand with regards to writing records. Even with club records, there's a methodology to writing those types of records. People ain't just pulling this out their butt and just saying, yeah, I'm going to sell this. Like a lot of these cats have degrees. A lot of these cats study music. I'll tell you, a lot of these cats have this I'm a thug background, but it's like Jeezy. It's like I remember watching the video of when Jeezy was talking about when he first came in to where he is now with regards to why he articulates in such a way, why he dresses such a way. They even referenced the whole situation between him and Gucci Mane at the verses. You know what I'm saying, with regards to what Gucci Mane is saying he owns and what Young Jeezy was basically, or excuse me, not Young Jeezy, what Jeezy was saying that he's invested in. You know what I'm saying, with regards to things. And it's like Jeezy is elevated. Jeezy understands what the structure of business is. He understands the hierarchy of power way better than what he did when he first came in. This isn't Jeezy the hustler anymore. You know what I'm saying? This ain't Jeezy the snowman. This is Jeezy the literal enterprising individual. This person knows what time it is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm with you 100%. Study this stuff, like really, like study this stuff, guys, and you'll understand. But really, like seriously, look into the whole content calendar. Let me know in the comments if you guys want me to make a template for you. That would take me like 10 minutes, as far as making a content calendar that you can download. Because you already have like the marketing budget link that I try to put in all the videos. Let me know. Me and Theo can get that done for you. But anyway, off that, let's get it. Let's get into some light stuff. Well, I guess this is still kind of dark. Theo, you're gonna start picking the topics, bro. Because I didn't really, because we gotta pick something light.
What I'm about to say, but I said, as I told you earlier, I said the crazy thing is I messed around, and left my phone in the back area because otherwise I'd have been jumping in our platform to be like, where them links at? Where them links at? I know I don't drop like 15 articles in here.
So start us off with this whole Lizzo, the Lizzo, Truth Hurts lawsuit.
I'm gonna be all the way honest with you. This is the first time I actually say you pulled something up that I'm not 100% all the way tuned in on.
What? Okay,
The
gotcha.
first time. It's wild, but this is not the one that I'm keyed in on right now.
Gotcha. Okay, no worries. I got you.
But we could definitely read an article and get this figured out.
Got you. So all right. So I'll give you a quick summary. So Lizzo has reached a settlement to end a years-long lawsuit over her Truth Hurts filed by three songwriters who claimed that they helped create her Grammy-winning record. In a motion filed Friday, March 18th, in Los Angeles federal court, attorneys for both sides said they had reached an agreement for the dismissal of the entire action. Both sides agreed to pay their own legal bills, but no other terms of the deal were publicly disclosed. All right.
Isn't this the one that was on Twitter where they were saying, "Oh, she used my lyrics or whatever"?
Yeah.
With regards to the memes. Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. So and that's the reason why I want to dive into it is this is a fight about intellectual property. So let's just call it what it is. In regards to the Katy Perry lawsuit, this whole thing going on with Dua Lipa, in regards to the funky drummer drum loop. Now they're trying to say they can claim that it's a sample. I mean, it is, but it's not a composition sample. And this is a fight for intellectual property. And the reason why that this I kept my eye on this is that she, based on what I saw, I didn't save the content, but based on what I saw, Lizzo did reference a meme. Chris Rock, get out of here. He's just looking at me in my face. Get out of here.
He's staring at you
Just
like you
staring at
talked
me.
about me getting slapped early.
Yeah. So she just referenced a meme as a source of inspiration, allegedly.
Mm-hmm.
And that was enough. That was enough evidence for a judge to go, okay, we may have a case here.
Yeah, but the reason why that's the case is because it's a matter of copyright, arguably. So in the same way that
so I didn't mean to cut you off, but I do
are you
have
good?
a question.
Hmm?
Yo, fam, are you saying we're owning copyrights and memes now?
That's the argument. So it's a matter of what is considered intellectual property. Because in one argument, as an artist writing a
Let me turn
song,
my aromatherapy machine on because I feel my blood pressure going up already. You heard? I know you heard it in the background. Let me turn this on. If I start cussing somebody out, go ahead, man.
Well, here with that Cassidy, my blood pressure is building.
Yeah, this thing better hit soon because my blood is boiling. Like that's insane. But go ahead.
But that's the literal issue of copyright. That is the circumstance of. Remember, we had a couple episodes back where we were talking about how they're saying artists are scared off with regards to copyright law from writing a lot of these big hits because and in the era that we live in right now, it's hard to say outside of what was traditionally considered copyright, what is now also to be included because it's a matter of interpretation of law. And that's what a lot of these judges are dealing with. Honestly, that's actually the funny thing. That's what they're dealing with not to go into a whole left, but with the Supreme Court situation right now, where they're saying judges with regards to interpretation and or actually responding to law as it's written. And in this same capacity, when you're dealing with copyright
Let
me
jump in there. Okay. So this was referencing to the first lawyer I spoke to in regards to an entertainment lawyer in regards to a contract that was trying to get drawn up. It was for this production deal that was going to be a real nice setup. It didn't happen, which is totally fine. But when I sent over it was a simulated contract, downloaded it, and I sent it over in regard based on what I thought would be appropriate. And when he sent it back, I was like, yo, the language isn't that direct. I think that was the words I used. I said, it's not that direct. He said, yeah, it's supposed to be ambiguous. I said, why? He said, well, you want it to be ambiguous in case you got to get out of it. Mm-hmm. And that's my issue is that no matter... Because you're right. In regards to the copyright law, if it is what it is what it is. However, it really ain't. So that's my issue here is that are we... I've never heard of that before where you can reference a meme and get a possible lawsuit. This is grabbing for straws, in my opinion.
Listen, it is, but it's not the issue of the meme, it's the issue of the literary work. If this person wrote lyrics online, technically what they said is protected by copyright. Arguably.
Is that okay? Now we're going down a deep dark, not deep dark. I gotta start saying that. Now we're going down the Twitter rap. But no, we can do it. So are you saying that my tweets are protected, that all my tweets are copywritten?
So if we look at the concept,
if that's the case, there's about 6 content creators on TikTok that owe me a check.
I mean, but that's what we're running into issues because the culture is moving faster than the law is adopting new changes in behaviors of interpretation. As we know, the law does not change easy. It does not change fast. It's slow as hell. You know what I'm saying? In regards to adopting new meanings based on new existing mediums. I mean, hell, we saw the whole situation between CDs to MP3s, MP3 to streaming, and how long it took for us to get the Music Modernization Act. I mean, I don't even want to speak on who was office when it happened, but you get what I'm saying. So it's like in this situation, you have all these new different forms of media, and we have to say, arguably, are they protected under a form of copyright? You know what I'm saying? With regards to how they're created. If someone posts his words in a particular form online, is it technically considered copyrighted? I mean, and arguably, if something is placed in a digital and or tangible form, it is considered copyright.
I gotta push back on that. Let me tell you why. Listen to the podcast. right? And in this podcast, the young lady was talking about, yo, you really got to focus on pushing, really pushing your email list, because what if these social media accounts fall? Because these social media accounts, they own your content. We've seen plenty of cases before where someone, like, for example, like someone like Crystal Westbrook, she posts a picture of her on her Instagram, and people can go use it over and over and over again to promote their parties. Like we've seen this. You went to college around the same time I did. So
true, but so technically they can't. From a legal standpoint, they would have to actually pay and or ask a license. So technically her image is her intellectual property. So she can basically tell someone, hey, I do not want you using my likeness and or image in your profitable situation, because they're making money off of her image and she's not receiving funds. That's no different than somebody saying, yo, I'm about to take your song and I'm about to go mass produce it and sell it on the CD that's bootleg.
So here's the thing. If that's the case, then why isn't Instagram paying micro influencers? Because even for my little following, right? Okay, I'll give you an example. If my content, if my reels, right, my producer minute reels on Instagram keep someone on the platform long enough to where he starts showing ads, shouldn't I get a piece of that?
So I'm gonna be all honest. You remember YouTube? Remember how YouTube used to say, hey, we're just a platform. People just create content and post, but we have no control over what they play, what they choose to incorporate in their content, et cetera, et cetera. And that's how they got away from the music industry, from paying royalties for so many years. See, we do it to ourselves. Our culture is based on taking and recycling. We see something that's posted. Now, if someone willfully, let's say a celebrity willfully posts their photo online, the expectation is your fans are probably going to download this photo and repost it. It's called exposure. So that's why we tolerate it. It's no different than mixtape culture. What would we do? What were we doing with mixtape initially before the whole FBI situation got on DJs about bootlegging, et cetera, et cetera?
Basically doing cover songs, yeah.
Exactly. It was an exposure behavior. Artists, rappers were doing freestyles over big rapper hits. And it was a big thing for a while. But once bootlegging took off in a whole different direction that they didn't think, it's like, oh, wait a minute, it's damn near about to be $1 billion industry. Wait a minute, shut that down. Copyright ain't about to play with that no more. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's cool until it's not. But digital is one thing that they can't stop. You can't realistically shut down the internet. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you had to adopt the behavior in another way, in one way or another.
But going back to what I was saying earlier, so who owns the content that's posted on these social media apps? Is it the user or the social media app?
Well, that's tricky. That depends on that terms and agreements, because years ago, Facebook used to basically say that any video you directly posted to their platform was technically theirs. Now, I don't know what their terms and agreement says now, and at the same time, I never uploaded photos, videos directly to Facebook.
So if it's theirs and they throw an ad on it, let's say they don't repost it, but it's on your profile, and they throw an ad on it, that's monetization that you're not getting.
I mean, yeah. I mean, they're monetizing that content one direction or another. But again, we're just the consumer, and we don't normally care.
Then if we're cool with that, then Lizzo should be able to reference that meme. If she did, for sure, she should be able to reference that meme and not, because at that case, whoever tweeted the lyrics, you don't own it anymore. You published it, but then it means Twitter would own it.
That's tricky, because that's if Twitter states in their terms and agreements or some form of a licensing conversation that anything that's posted to Twitter, they're accepting ownership of. That's all dependent.
We got to get an entertainment lawyer on it, not mine, because I don't want y'all all in their DMs and stuff. We got to get another entertainment lawyer that we're not working with, because I can see that getting weird.
A lot of this stuff is loose, because again, we're dealing in new spaces. This is not something that was designed for as the law is currently written. A lot of this stuff is coming into legal situations as new interpretations, because it's considered a new medium.
Okay.
As just like oh, I can't think of what's Future Kings, the dude who runs Future
Yeah, yeah,
Kings.
yeah,
He
yeah.
has that post about the 2K situation. We've seen several high profile situations now with regard, especially thanks to TikTok, where these dancers are creating these amazing dances to these artists' works, and now they're somehow appearing in
In
these video
Fortnite,
games.
yeah.
Right now, this one's in 2K. He's like he literally he shows a
But
video of them in
that's what I'm
2K.
asking is that in that term license and agreement, if Twitter, in this case, if Twitter, unless, like I said, we have to look at the guidelines. But I'm under the impression that Twitter will own that content. So what makes them? And I agree, you did publish it, but Twitter owns it.
But see,
This isn't Spotify.
but but that's where the difference in the situation is. You publish something, so we could argue Twitter owns the actual publishing. If we were to look at it from a label standpoint, that's like saying an artist wrote the record, so they own the lyrics. But when this became a master, the label owned that version of the song. So they may own
Think,
what is existing
what you
there,
talking about? That happens every day. This happening right now.
but that's what I'm saying. And the same thing with Twitter, that could be arguably placed in the same conversation. If Twitter, hypothetically speaking, because this is all we don't know 100% what their terms and agreements
I
is,
like how you
but
look dead ass in the camera lens just to make sure. If you're not watching this on YouTube, please go back and look. I gotta find a timestamp. He looked dead into the camera lens.
oh, but listen, this is what happens when you mess around, start taking communications as a master's program. You start just finding them little circumstances, and your behavior start changing. You just start picking up on little different things.
Mm-hmm.
But trust me, that's why I say the funny thing about the program, because it's like I done took my first class was in PR. My second one now is in media studies. You know what I'm saying? My next one is in new technology and advertising.
Theo,
I got another.
we ain't trying to hear about your classes
This
more,
is
man. Let's
wild.
go and wrap up this Lizzo thing. Even though it's
Yeah,
over with.
but I mean, but as you saw, they put it in a situation where they basically put both parties back in their corner, because it's like, wait a minute, what are we really doing here? You're basically trying to prove that this person incorporated lyrics into their song based on a meme, and the argument realistically becomes, is this quote unquote meme protected
And hold
in
on.
the same way?
And
Hmm?
hold on. Let's keep it a buck. Does Twitter own it, or does Canva own it? Because it was published on Canva. Like I said, like you're opening up a whole bunch of you're opening up Pandora's box, or what's the proper term? But basically,
I mean, that
it's a
is a good
dumb
question,
lawsuit to
because
me. I'm sorry.
there are people who will say, so when you try to do a logo through Canva, you technically don't own the rights in a sense to that logo, because it is in some capacity owned by Canva. I have heard things like
But
that outsaid in the ether.
but that's the conversation that creators need to know. Hey, if I use your platform, do I 100% own this? You know what I'm saying? Like that stuff, because if
Mm-hmm.
that's the case, think about it. Think about how many times someone, and you see this all the time when people getting ready for the roll out for the next single, they'll tweet the lyrics, or they'll tweet something in the sense of like, hey, this is the interpolation of the lyric or whatever, or the exact lyrics. Like who's to say like, hey, actually, who's to say that Twitter doesn't go up to whomever and say, hey, we own a piece of that song because you published it here first.
So I'll be perfectly honest with you. I would call that to be bogus. I don't bogus as a lawsuit, circumstantially, because
So
as
you have to
copyright.
feel me on this one then. This whole
No,
Lizzo thing.
I definitely feel you on this. I'd call this bogus all day. But the difference with regards to lyrics, as lyrics in itself, as copyright is interpreted, as the actual law is interpreted, regardless of where that's posted, you still have copyright at the moment it is physically made tangible. So if you write it on a piece of paper, that is considered a tangible product. That is, means that you have copyright protection. That is your intellectual property. So even if you go to post it online, the lyrics of your song you still technically own. So even if Twitter tries to say, oh well, we feel like we should receive a royalty because you posted it to our platform, no, that's not a thing, because in that same situation we would have to estimate how many times fans are posting lyrics on behalf of other artists in regards to their accounts. Now we're
Go,
going to argue that they all of a sudden can pull from that.
but then that goes into what you were saying earlier about recycling and reposting content for the sake of exposure.
Right.
If so, my question is, if I am the author of these lyrics and I
Mm-hmm.
post it on Twitter, do I own the copyright to that lyric, or does Twitter? Because what it
You own
sounds,
it.
okay,
You
cool.
wrote it prior to it ever getting on
So
Twitter.
then you're in agreement with these people that are suing Lizzo. I'm on the other side. I'm like, if you post it on a meme, it's like, okay, cool. Or sure you own it, or does Twitter own it? And also, if it's an interpolation of your lyrics and she has it in her song. Oh, looks like we lost Theo.
Oh, hold on 1 second.
Oh.
Sorry about that. I just got a joint that said on the call. Give me 1 second. I'm still here. You can hear me.
Yeah.
You just might not see me for a second.
So what I'm saying is, my question here is, if that's enough to where you can get a lawsuit, then there are hundreds of thousands of people that use that platform every day that are tweeting things that are inspiring these songwriters and these artists to come up with hooks, bars, entire albums. And if they have enough evidence, quote unquote, then it means you're opening up the door for these people to go and sue these artists. That's my issue, is that when you start doing stuff like this, you start opening up the door for other people, because they're like, oh, I can get money from you know tweeting these rap lyrics or whatever, and you have accounts. I can see people have an account dedicated to tweeting potential song lyrics, and just so they can go and say, hey, that artist, hey, I tweeted this 2 years ago. Like, I could totally see that happening.
But see, that's the thing. It's like, if we go back to the way copyright is interpreted with regards to lyrics itself, memes aside, because again, memes is a whole new dedicated point of media that has to take a new form of interpretation with regards to copyright. We would, in that fact, need a lawyer to say, hey, what is our current legal standings with this particular type of media? But if we go to lyrics itself, not transcribed into some other form or facet, lyrics themselves with regards to artistry or authorship is protected under copyright at the moment you make it tangible. So not just lyrics in your mind, that don't mean nothing. Can't copyright an idea. But once you write it down on a piece of paper or type it in your phone, whatever, some form of a physical and or digital, a tangible medium, something where we can quantify it, that says that, hey, this belongs to you. So yeah, if someone tweets your lyrics, quote unquote, on Twitter, that doesn't necessarily mean that you no longer own the copyright. That's not saying you transferred the copyright to Twitter. That's still your copyright with regards to those lyrics. Now, the argument with regards to the case wasn't necessarily just the lyrics, but it was the reference of the meme itself. So if this was someone's song and someone had wrote these lyrics in a song and this song was commercialized, and Lizzo had utilized these words, and that was the argument that they were making in court, we would probably have a whole different standing. But because we're dealing with this in the sense of it not just being lyrics, but it's being referenced as a new medium, hey, she gained inspiration or utilized part of this particular conversation from this particular medium known as a meme, the question from a legal standing becomes, is this protected because they're saying it is a meme that she utilized? They're not necessarily just flat out saying, yo, she stole the lyrics to my song. They're saying, yo, she saw this meme and just basically utilized words from this meme. So if that's the argument they're going in, then we have to say, is a meme itself as the medium covered under copyright protection as it's interpreted by the law, or as they would say from a legal standpoint, as the law is written? You know what I'm saying? Not a matter of you interpreting it in the way that feels the most credible based on a new medium. No, just writing it and judging it based on it was written and as it was supposed to be interpreted at the moment it was established. Those are where we run into those issues. You know what I'm saying? Because with all these new things popping up, new social platforms, new ways to make money, new content ideas, meme is a whole new thing. Now, I'm not saying new thing as in it just came out within the last few years. The word meme has been around for a while, but the circumstance that is what people creating and calling a meme is a whole new circumstance. That's just like when you have all these dancers out here saying, is there any protection for us with regards to our dance? I mean, can we copyright the dance moves? Does this need to be a trademark? You know what I'm saying? It's a matter of saying, okay, let me Google search. Can dance moves be
Well,
copyrighted?
they were
Can the steps, you
trying.
know what I'm saying?
I think it was an article in Rolling Stone, and then we'll wrap this up, guys. I think there was an article in Rolling Stone where someone was pushing, and because I sent it to our choreographer Dre for when he was working with Jay Daniel for his live show. Like, yo, you can copyright dances,
Mm-hmm.
so it can be done, or it's being done. It just, again, I keep my eye on stuff like this because, again, like I said, I think episode 2 or 3 or whatever, like, yo, whatever, like the majors are always way ahead of the curve, but
Watching.
also dead last as well. So it'll be
Mm-hmm.
interesting, man. I don't have anything else to add to this. Shout out to Mina Lioness, who got songwriting credit for Truth Hurts. Um, yeah, man. That's all I gotta say on that one. All right, what else we got? Did you get a chance? Did you get a chance to touch base on this Fair Act bill? If not, it's all good.
I lightly saw it, but man, I did not get the chance to double in on this. I'm telling you, you hit me 2 for 2 for that. It's crazy.
All right,
I don't think I've
let's
ever been in an episode like
all
this.
right. Let's see. We got Apple's music recognition app Shazam. Is also a concert discovery platform now. Blah.
Hey, that
IFPI.
bands and hey, people need to get that bands in town situation together. You need to have something as an artist.
You wanna dive into that? Come on.
Oh, we could definitely dive into that.
All right. Let me pull this up. Go ahead, man. Go ahead. I'm
Yeah,
pulling this up.
I'm gonna tell you, it's funny because we talk to a lot of different artists, and it's interesting the resources that they do not tap into. I'll tell you right now, if you're an artist, you're on tour, you're performing, there's 2 traditional platforms that you need to be a part of: Bands in Town and Songkick. We talk to a lot of different indie artists, and a lot of different indie artists do not have these set up, no different than a publishing arm. But again, these are marketing platforms. These platforms allow your fans to know what's going on. You're coming in town. What venue are you going to be at? What time are you performing? Is there a dress code, so to speak? These platforms present that information on that behalf, tour dates, et cetera, et cetera. Now, the positive to this particular situation, beyond what you're just seeing right here, is the fact that Shazam has now incorporated this feature. Now, for those who do not know, Apple does own Shazam. So, in conjunction with this particular program, when someone Shazams your record, if you're on tour, they now also see your tour dates. And we know as artists, the vast majority of your money outside of a merch standpoint and outside of streaming is going to be from shows because it's the most effective way for you to connect with fans and do all three: get your streams up, get your royalties up from set list performances being submitted to your PRO, sell your merchandise because you got a merch table. If commercialize super big giant, you got somebody else taking care of that for you. But if
Quick
you're an
question:
indie artist,
Is this owned by Bandcamp? Because this logo and this UI for this website looks very familiar.
honestly, I'm not 100% certain if it's owned by Bandcamp, but Bandcamp just got bought themselves. So
Yeah, they did. This looks kind of, yeah, that
maybe they
UI
had the
looks,
same web developer.
yeah, for sure, for sure. Hold
They're
on,
like,
man. Are they
we
owned?
use the same, we trade in the same circles.
Yeah, that looks very familiar. Okay, all right, but go ahead. I'm sorry.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. Bandcamp, bands in town. I
Yeah.
mean, there's a lot of drawn similarities there. But I mean, the principle is, as an artist, and I know this is where a lot of the headaches come in. They be like, man, I got another thing I gotta do. But it's like this type of situation automates the behaviors when it comes to shows. No different than you creating a smart link for your music to say, my music's here. You want to utilize a platform that's going to automate the behavior of saying where your shows are. You don't want to have to keep jumping on Facebook saying, I got a show coming up in such and such. You got a 10 city tour. You need to have a system like Bands in Town or Songkick that's going to say, hey, let me post this link for you. Here it is. Boom. Drop this on Facebook. Here's all my upcoming tour dates. These little subtleties are what literally make the difference between an indie major, and a major artist.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the differences are quite literally who's setting this up for you. But the difference in these situations is the indie major and the major already have these things in place. And these things are accessible to everybody. You know what I'm saying? So it's like a lot of these tools that you see your favorite artists utilizing, you can go create an account right now.
Fam,
You know what I'm saying?
I would listen. Let me tell y'all something. Go do this, please. this is much easier than when my first tour was nothing but a whole bunch of open mics that I put on a flyer, and I had to
Pass that out.
bust my ass to get there on time, and some of them open mics didn't happen, and I called it a tour. Like that was my first one. This seems to be a much easier way. I would say definitely get on this, research this stuff, and sign up for it. Music revenue is up. What is it now? 7.6.
Yeah, it's up there. I think they said it just went up 18%, 18.
18.5. We can actually get into that now. Did you do the research on the IFPI Global Music Report?
Hey, I did start looking at that. That situation's crazy. Okay. Shout out to Italy being in the top 10 markets now. I'm trying to tell people, man, you gotta really get into these conversations with regards to businesses. The things like this IFPI article is basically telling you where you can position yourself, people you need to target. The fact that royalty streaming money is up in Italy says, hey, that's a market I need to tap into. That's a developing market that we haven't necessarily paid attention to, because they've always told us Eastern market, as in Asia. You know what I'm saying? But now you have European markets, and it's like, oh yeah, they love hip hop over there too. But who do I target there? That's a wide thing, going over to say, hey, who's all over in the UK, et cetera, et cetera. Now you can say, hey, Italy's in the top 10 markets. They love to stream music. What type of music are they streaming? What do I need to be positioning? How do I get tapped into that market? How do I communicate with fans over there? Do I need to do it via Instagram? Do I need to start chopping it up with chaps on WhatsApp? You know what I'm saying?
You just say chaps? Yo,
yeah, that did slick out.
All right, man.
I'm sorry. I mess around for some strange reason.
Around me too long. That's what that means.
Man, that and Top Man came up in my head. Mess around. I saw that on Netflix earlier. Oh, excuse me, Top Boy popped in my head on Netflix. Somebody gonna roast me on that one. That joint popped in my head when I seen it on Netflix early, and I'm like, I've been meaning to watch this show ever since I heard that Drake record. I've been meaning to watch this show.
I think he has ownership in the company that's producing it, if I'm not mistaken.
I mean, it'd be smart business if he does. I mean, but Drake been doing his thing, so it's like it's just a matter of what is he expanding into now. That's the only question you ever got to ask when it comes to Drake is, what are you doing now?
But anyway, so I'm just seeing a whole bunch of reports about music revenue going up like crazy, especially out in West Africa, the Caribbean, Latin America. It is up. This is it. This is what you guys been waiting for. If you've been putting out a whole bunch of tapes, EPs, singles, this is when you want to book a show, because the fans are out and they're spending their money like crazy.
No.
The reason why I can tell is because I'm starting to get beat sales again. So that's how I know. Like, oh, it's like some of you guys kind of caught on. Like, yeah, you may want to start putting out some more music. People are looking for soundtracks now, man. This is it. This is the world is back open. I like I said, I wasn't convinced that last summer that the world was open. I was like, nah, this ain't it. I know the difference between a real summer and this pandemic summer that we have.
That was the world opening up.
Yeah.
Now the world's open.
Right. The world is open. So if you are, even if it's just an open mic or whatever, get your merchandise up, get your ticket sales up, man. Go get this money. This is it. This is what you've been waiting for.
Scroll down for me for a little bit.
Yeah.
Right here. So right towards the top, about, I can't even really call it paragraphs, 3 sections down where it says total streaming included both paid subscription and advertising supported grew by 24.3% to reach 16.9 billion, or 65% of total global recorded music revenue. Now, where people have to understand with this situation is they're saying paid subscriptions. So when you consider paid subscription across streaming platforms, you have student tiers, you potentially have family tiers, you also have single tiers, you know what I'm saying? And then at that same situation, you have your freemium models. Now, people would be like, well, why does all that matter? Because when you deal with something like a family tier, for example, they're paying, like with Apple Music, a flat ratio for a series of people to access. So when you consider these systems are paying you out of their revenue pool, you're getting paid, for example, with that family tier, if it's $16, you're getting paid a percentage out of that $16 on the whole. you know what I'm saying, whatever the revenue as a large pie is, as well as getting royalties on the back end,
Right.
percentages.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I preached it. I don't know what episode when I was explaining the whole business model. In regards like how do you really get paid from streams? Like how does that work? And yeah, man, I would like I said, this is it. This is when you want to do it. And we'll see you guys in when's the royalty check? Or sorry, it's supposed to be what, September or whatever. So we'll see. We'll see if some of y'all can pay some bills, man.
See when that quarterly come out.
Yeah, see when that quarterly comes out, man.
That's why people start posting and be like, I gotta erase this number and this number here. I don't want y'all looking at my bank statement and then over here looking at my routing number and my account number trying to hit me up. I know you're hacking out here, but this number right here is what I want y'all to pay attention to. This is what's really going on. I mean, it's wild though, man. Like I've been having publishing conversations all week. And yeah. It's wild. It's wild. I got to remind myself to start telling artists more and more, yo, you are missing money. And they be like, what do you mean? So you got a PRO, right. But you only got a PRO, right? Okay, you streaming your music, right. So you only got 2 sources of income. Yeah. Okay, did you sign up with Sound Exchange? Nah, what's that? See, you missing money. Okay, you got a publisher? Nah, you mean my PRO? Nope, so you missing money. Got to sign up with Sound Exchange. You know, so people would be like, well, people who know with regards to it, sometimes they'll say, okay, it's definitely something you need to do. It's not necessarily always going to be the big chunk of change because they deal with paying featured artists on non-interactive streams. So like Pandora, Sirius XM. So if you're not super active on those platforms, it may not necessarily be your giant chunk. But then again, you'll be surprised at what's blowing up on these Pandora charts.
No, man.
Like I remember...
No, I was gonna say like for real, you like Dry-Fi, my instrumental album. I was like, yo, they are killing it in France. It was France, Bulgaria, and I forgot the other place. I'm pretty sure I said it before, but like, yeah, kind of like we said about the whole international things. Like, there's money out here to be made, and it's very. Cause I knew something was up. Cause when I was looking at my thematic, I was like, how do I have 6.7 million people listening to this thing? And then I was like, oh shit, none of them are in the States. So it's little stuff like that you got to keep an eye out for, and you got to sign up for this stuff.
And that right there is what presents the conversation of lost money. Because it's like people will say, oh, well, I'm getting money from my music being played in India. But it's like, yeah, you're getting the upfront money, the money that's being paid out by a DSP to your distributor because they're streaming your music.
Right.
But there is a chance that you're missing a mechanical royalty and a performance royalty as the composition owner.
Now you're opening up that conversation again.
I say on a closing point to that, it honestly just depends on the country, because when you consider the aspect of neighboring rights and who's actually paying out the concept of broadcasting rights and or royalties based on how their country works versus how our country works, you'll never know if you are missing or not until you get that publisher to go chase that money for you. As far as you know, it don't exist until someone says, nah, actually, they do this.
And this is something I was talking about on Twitter, and we'll wrap it up here. This was something I was talking about on Twitter. I said, yo, how do I know I'm not like the biggest producer in, Mumbai? Mm-hmm. How do I know like my music isn't like tearing the clubs up and everything else? And it's like, well, do you have an international pub admin? It's like, who would I contact for that and to track all that? Now I'm with Song Trust, but doesn't mean a Song Trust is going over there to find that information. I could be killing it in Chile. I could be killing it in Nova Scotia, right, which is just right up the street from here. And it's like, yeah.
So arguably, Song Trust is going to go over there in the sense that they have contacts. Hey, where is our money?
That's the part. Assuming they have contacts.
And that's the thing. It's a matter of saying, hey, do they have relationships with this particular country, with this particular whatever, city, yada, yada, yada. Well, based on the aspect of that global rights, I say global rights organization, do they have relationships in that market space? If they do, they're going to flex their contacts to find out where your money is. with regards to what's going on.
Right.
Oh, they got clubs over there playing licenses, the PROs. Oh, okay, them PROs are reporting to such and such societies. Okay, this publisher has relationships with these societies. Hey, they're going to collect that money and be able to tell you what's what with regards to what's going on. But it's like certain things you'll find out based on their station of what they do. Other things you may have to utilize other opportunities to find. That's where your DSPs come in, because like Spotify, where it has charts, which tells you, hey, this is where your music's streaming. And there is correlations that say, if your music's tearing up in the clubs, there's a very strong likelihood it's going to be tearing up on somebody's chart somewhere because it's going to be translated. People running your stuff in the club like that, someone's going to be streaming your music because they're hearing it in the club enough. Rather, if they're doing a marketing run, or if it's just by the sake that that record was hot, so now people are like, yeah, I want to hear this. I need this on my playlist. You're going to see something. You just have to pay attention to the systems and see which one starts buzzing. Are they on Spotify? Does that market area have Spotify? Is it one of those systems that you don't actually have access to, but you know your music's there? And when you say don't have access to, it's like there's plenty of streaming services that you may not necessarily see in the US App Store. You know what I'm saying? That may be for another country, but your music is submitted there. So the only way you're getting information regarding it is what's being provided from that DSP back on over to your distributor. You know what I'm saying? So now you scurrying to try to figure out, okay, how can I get more information about what my record's doing over there? And that's when you got to start building those relationships, start seeing what's going on in that market.
It's a rabbit hole. We'll have to go down next time. But yeah, keep an eye out for the international money. For sure.
It's there. It's there more than the US money sometimes. Watch these labels. These labels understand. I rewatched it. It was Sony that got that Singapore office. And I'm like, they not playing. These labels is building everywhere.
Yeah.
They ready for the metaverse.
So that's it. We're gonna wrap up the episode right there. I think we did pretty good. I think we gave you guys a lot of game. I appreciate the fact that Theo took us back to the light, because I started, like I said, in a dungeon where it's comfortable for me, and then we were able to tie things together and give you guys some game. But definitely, like I said, I let us know in the comments if you guys want us to create a content calendar. It's pretty easy, but if you guys want us to create one for you, it'll take literally like 10 minutes, and we can definitely give you a link. But in regards to the content burnout, please look into getting a content calendar. Like I say, you can sign up for IFPI. There is or IFPI. There is later. There's Planner, Planali. There's different ones you can sign up for. Understand the 5 W's of a brand, which is the who, what, where, when, and why. And
they said that's learning K through 12. So yeah, I should already been referenced to that.
Right. Bands in town. Like I said, go get go get this tour money. Like for real. Like go get this show money. It's not gonna take much. I promise you, there's hundreds of other indie artists you've never heard of that are doing this now.
Automate your life.
Automate your life. Yo, that's what I should have made the name of the podcast. Automate your life. God dog it. I should have made it that. That's hard. But yeah, I don't have anything else, man. Shout out to Chika. As a fan, definitely please take care of yourself. I understand you gotta try and get some money. You just blew up. I get it. But for real, like your life is way more important than those to show checks. Your real fans are gonna wait for you and come and tap in with you.
That's one thing I will say with regards to saying you want to be a celebrity, you want to be in this business. And this is nothing with regards to Chika. This is just in a general sense. If you are an artist, because I understand there's a level of sensitivity because you have to be sensitive with regards to the music you're creating. Understand that you are putting your life on a pedestal. These people are going to judge you, and they're going to judge you harshly. You know what I'm saying? You have to be able to, as Han said, cut it off. You got to be able to separate. You got to do something that is for you, because they're going to attempt to take that you from you, because what they see of you, they believe to be you, not the facade. So you have to, for yourself, establish a level of calm. You know what I'm saying? That you can take away. That's why I always love watching like Beyonce and Jay-Z, because it's like You don't see him active on social media in a lot of instances, but when he come out, he comes out. You know what I'm saying? And then when he's gone, he's gone. He handles the business and does what he needs to do and keeps majority of what does not need to be in his life and in his business out of it until he needs you there. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I know for a lot of artists, they'd be like, well, we can't do that. We can't do what Adele does. We can't do what Justin Timberlake does because we didn't come up in that era. It's not true. TV shows, even online, still do it to this day. Netflix found a whole new way to do it. We're going to give you this whole season and then we'll see you next summer. Literally, you have to create a behavior of conditioning for the people around you. You condition them to move the way you want them to move because they see how you move and they understand the circumstances around what you're doing. If you fall into that content trap of, I need to produce, I need to produce, I need to produce, I need to produce, rather it be music, rather it be photos, whatever, you are going to put yourself in a situation of stress, and stress takes your health because you're chasing the fame rabbit hole. Well, correction, you're chasing the clout. You're not really chasing the fame. There is a difference. You know what I'm saying? We have to establish that level of what it really takes to get there, what it takes to stay established, and how long you want to be established in the game. Because all that stuff makes a difference when it comes to who you're going to be in that industry.
Yeah, I couldn't have said any better, man. Take care of yourselves, man. Seriously, this is, and I'll wrap it up on that. But seriously, please take care of yourself. I know you want to accomplish everything you put your mind to, but you can't accomplish it if you're no longer here.
True story.
All right. Y'all be easy. Have a great week. It's finally warming up here in New York. It's like a hot 45 degrees. Yeah, I actually said that. It came out of my mouth. It's a hot 45 degrees. Take care. I know you guys are going out for summer. Be easy. Much love.
It's a hot COVID summer.